The simple takeaway is this. If you focus on problems that are going to give you the attainment of the success from the goal you set, you're moving in the right direction. It's really interesting. And I got a really good answer for this. Okay, so I used to see the world in a way where I had to try and fit in constantly trying to fit in. You know, I must wear the suit and tie, you know, even though it was like sensory overwhelming. And I must wear, I must go outside and say hello, how do you do to people, and smile at people in the street. And I have to do all this nonsense and go to parties and do all this garbage. But then when I got the diagnosis, I was like, dang, like I'm not broken. Like I'm not completely like garbage. Actually, my brain just works in a different way. So I need to, in my mind, I was like, I need to attain my existence or urge myself towards life in a new way, right? Or in a different way. And I thought about it like this, and I'm writing a book on this at the moment called The Reverse Effect. And I always think about the same principle. Look, if you repeat the same thing over and over again and expect different outcomes, it's the definition of insanity, right? We have to change the recipe to get a different outcome. I know this, I did a degree in chemistry. If we repeat the process, we're going to get the same answers. This is how we get scientific papers published, right? However, in life, the same thing can be applied. I was expecting to have a better existence, even though I was trying to conform to the same rules of society. So I said, you know what? Let's do the opposite, man. Let's reverse this. This is the same way I wrote my book. And I was like, if everybody else does it this way, I'm going to do what others won't do. And when I do what others won't do, I always win. And so people, look, dude, people aren't willing to sit up until 3 a.m. studying something that makes no, like the YouTube algorithm. I studied it every single day for a year, right? And I went from 10 to 100,000 subscribers within a year because I studied what this thing did. And I was up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I got up at 9 for work, you know, and to do the other things, because other people won't do that, because people are too kind of locked in their narrative of like, I should just do work from 9 to 5 and the rest is relaxation time. I'm like, dude, you only have 4 score and 20. We're all going to be dead one day. You're going to look back and say, yeah, I'm glad I put my feet up and ate, you know, Pringles whilst watching TV. No. I want to be the guy. It's like, hey, how did I leave my butt print in the history books? And for what cause? How am I urging myself towards existence? So I have to do more. If I don't, I'm failing myself. We have a duty, an obligation, a responsibility towards life to give it your all. If you don't, what are you doing? So my perspective or the way I see the world changed instantly. When I realized it was autism, I was like, okay, cool. So now it's autism. Now I know what that is. How can I push this forward to create a reality that can not only benefit me, but benefit the autistic group as a whole? And that is how I did it. And that's what I do. That's why I'm here right now. Relentless action, laser focus. Look, people do this one thing, okay? They have a rejection sensitivity dysphoria, which is a condition that comes alongside autism, right? We're always fear of rejection. And I had this a long time, but it's only a thought pattern. The rejection sensitivity is only apparent because we allow fear to manifest. Now, fear is a byproduct of worry. Worry is a byproduct of anxiety, and anxiety is a byproduct of the fact that we don't know what the future is going to hold for either a situation or a group of situations. But at the end of the day, what is that? That's a problem versus solution scenario. If we have a problem, the only reason we get scared is because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. But that's because we're focusing on the problem. But if we look at it and say, hey, there's actually a potential of solution here, let's focus our energies on trying to solve this and get the solution, then we're going to be okay. So what do I mean by relentless action, right? This is how you thrive. If you come against fear in any shape or form in your life, instantly replace it with action, because action cannot exist where fear exists, and simultaneously fear cannot exist where action exists. If you come across fear, it just happens, right? Oh man, I'm worried about something. Dang it, I need to take action. If it's phoning somebody, if it's creating a piece of content, if it's putting a video out, if it's calling your friend, if it's going on the street and shouting hallelujah, take action. And I proved this. I was so worried about my business about a week ago. I was like, I want to do more, and I'm worried I'm not getting anywhere. And so I said, I need to take action. I need to eliminate fear wherever it presents itself, and I'm going to take action. And what I got my phone out and I emailed all the charities I've ever worked with. And I said, hey, what can I do for you for free right now? If there's anything I could do, let me know. Anna Kennedy messaged me straight away from Anna Kennedy Online, Autism Charity. She said, Dan, I'm on the radio tomorrow, 11 a.m. Do you want to come on as a guest? I said, yeah, of course I do. Boom. When you take action, amazing things happen. Be relentless. The more swings of the bat, the more chance you are at hitting it. And I'll tell you something, if you take persistent levels of action over a persistent amount of time, the right amount of action will always give you your goal. So if you want anything in life, persistence always is where you need to be. But you can only persist if you allow yourself to take action. Don't become lazy, don't become docile, and definitely don't rest on anything. It's your duty, obligation, and moral responsibility to use that inherent power, a gift of being an autistic or ADHD person, to just absolutely just give it your all. It's like a burning fire inside me. I'm like, come on, let's flip a table, you know? Like, let's go. You know, it's all to do with how you start the day. If you start your day and you're like, oh man, I got so many things I did. Okay, that's fine. We all have many things. We all have many worries and ideas floating about in the world. But I see them as this, right? I don't know if you're religious. I don't care if anyone's religious or not. This is how I see it, right? You have two types of airplanes trying to land in your thought process. You've got God's airplanes and the devil's airplanes. The devil's coming down like this with stuff like, you're a loser, you're never going to amount to anything, blah, blah, blah. You got all these evil thoughts just like trying to land a plane. And then you have the good thoughts being like, don't worry about it. Let's keep going. Let's start the day off right. How do we start the day off right? So I just try and land as many of the good thoughts as possible. I just ignore the other ones. And the only way you can ignore the other ones is by taking action again, because the devil makes work for idle hands. When we were talking about this discussion, right? Like, let's get cracking. Let's make something happen. So this is what I do. I start my day off very simply. I take out one of these, which is like, I have these notepads, and I do on every single day. I've got an affirmations card here. And in there, I write down all my goals in a way as if I've already attained the things that I want to achieve. And I look at this and I say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Let's get to work. There's no time to sit here and worry about, nonsense because let me tell you, a person who has more mental health issues has less problems in their life. A person who wants to lower mental health issues needs to increase their problems in life. And I'm not dismissing the importance of mental health. I also suffer from mental health, depression, anxiety. All those things are actual issues that do come about. But how do we cope? How do we survive whilst even having those conditions? It's very, very simple. You just take as much action as possible because you're pushing yourself towards problems. And I mean it like this, very simply in a nutshell. If I'm standing still, I'm not having any problems, right? But I'm standing still. I'm not going anywhere. Once I start moving through life, boom, problem. Okay, cool, let's handle it. Handle that problem, another problem. And problems are good for one simple reason. If I want to attain something in life, okay, I want to be a school bus driver. Cool, I don't have a school bus license. What do I need? I need to get money to get a school bus license. Okay, cool, first problem, I don't have a license. It's a good problem to have because I want a license to get the job as a school bus driver. Now I've got the license, I need to take lessons. Once I take lessons, now I need to find a job. I need to get CVs, so school bus driving CVs. I need to go and distribute to all the schools around the area. These are all good problems to have because they're attaining you towards your goals. The simple takeaway is this. If you focus on problems that are going to give you the attainment of the success from the goal you set, you're moving in the right direction. If you sit down and think about problems that you don't even have to worry about. I don't wake up and go, oh, I'm not a cordon bleu chef. Oh my God. No, that's bullcrap. I wake up every day and I go, hey, I can make people who they need to be in order to push the society of our community forward. And that's the key. That's the goal. Write down the goals. The things you're good at, go out there and kick butt every day. It's a funny question. I get asked this a lot, and I do public speeches all over the world. People seem to resonate towards me because I have two things. I have an ignited motivational energy inside me, a burning desire to change the world, to flip the universe on its head, flick the universe. And I want to do that. And I'm doing that, and I'm going to continue to do that. But I want to do that because I want to inspire people to also realize their potential. I mean, if you look around us, we've got skyscrapers, people putting spaceships on Mars, on the moon, constant bridges and architectural amazing things that are built by humans, just like you and I, right? And autistic individuals like Elon Musk, Albert Einstein, Greta Thunberg, changing the world, the way we think about things, because they're applying themselves towards the group. I want to wake that fire up inside everybody so that they don't even worry about self-doubt or lack of confidence or lack of motivation. They go, wow, my fire is burning so big, so bright that even my haters, my enemies, the critics are going to come close to my fire to stay warm and use its light because my fire is so big. I don't care who agrees or not with me as long as I'm going forward, changing the world through relentless action. And I want my audience to come to my speeches and realize that they can do that. They are a gift. And it's not just that. It's that they also have the ability to then change other people's lives. I'm not satisfied with mediocrity. I'm not satisfied with just a mediocre life or the medium or just being no. We as autistic individuals, as neurodivergent individuals, we have the the ability to ding flick the universe. All you got to do is light the fire. The rest will grow, because we have abilities far beyond the typical ideas of the world. And I don't like typical things. I love people, but I don't like typical things. And so, yeah, if somebody comes to my speech, I hope and I pray that they realize that when I was, up until I was 5 years old, I didn't speak to anybody, maybe my mom, you know? And when I flunked every single high school grade, I flunked. I even put an Instagram post up. My teacher saying, Dan's never going to amount to much. Dan's not paying attention in life. He's not going to apply himself. He's not going to do anything. Science, English, maths, Welsh, because I grew up in Wales. None of this is going to work. But look behind me right now. Look at this. What's this? This is an MIT graduation certificate. I got a scholarship at MIT for leadership in the digital age of disabilities. I got a best-selling book in 3 languages. Internationally on 3 countries. I got a Disability Smart Award. I got an Autism Hero Award, YouTube Award, Facebook Award. I just won another award from Passport's Hero Award for Autism in Canada. When I was 11 years old, was homeless, right? Lost everything. Lost my house, lost my parents, lost the house, lost the car, lost the business, lost everything. We were homeless. But you know what I never did? I never sat down and went, oh, woe is me. I'm going to now, oh, I'm homeless. No, I was like, okay, dang it. Yeah, I'm sad, but whatever. How do I move myself forward? That is the key. If I can get that spark inside somebody else, I win. And I'll tell you something else. This last thing I'll say. People always say to me like, hey, I've started this business coaching people and trying to change the world. So, you know, if I just change one person's life, I've done my job. I'm like, that's a terrible aspiration, because that's a terrible outcome. I want to change 6 billion people's lives. How do I do this? You know, if 1 in 40 people are autistic in the world, then I've got some work to do. I'm not happy. I've got like almost 1 million followers on the socials. I hit maybe over 1 million people every month with my content. That's not enough. More work needs to be done. Let's change the world. That's the kind of thinking. I'm like, come on, guys. And we're the only people to do that because we're hyperactive enough. And that is it.